Good evening. You have received this, all of you. Prelims results are out. In the result, they are very quick now. Hmm. So all of you are now preparing for next year, 2023. All of you. Good. Started studying something or not yet? Not yet. Seen the syllabus? In the syllabus. And read some interviews also by some selected candidates? Huh? Have you read some interviews? How to go about and what is the what should be the strategy? Anyway, so in today's class, what we are going to do is, of course, we call it orientation or workshop or whatever name you can give. That is according to the demand of the market. But probably this is the class which is very important so far as your preparation is concerned. Why it is so? Because this class will, or you will not get the opportunity to attend this class again throughout your preparation. Because once you are entering the subject, you are under severe pressure of the subjects, and then you will not be able to get time to reorient yourself. That is the importance of this class, which the name is not important. The name is according to the demand of the professional coachings, that whether we call it interactive session or orientation or whatever. Now today I will be talking with you not as a part of coaching institute. I will be talking as a teacher. Whether you join a coaching, this coaching or any coaching, it hardly matters. The most important thing is, as a teacher, the responsibility is on me to tell you how to, not tell the how to get selected finally. That all credit goes to the student. Teachers have only the contributing factors. I cannot claim that he has been my student, so I was the main person who made him got selected. That is not the case. Selection or rejection, credit is yours, discredit is yours. Teachers are simply the sources, one of the sources, just like books. So as a teacher, I have to discuss something which is very important so far as your syllabus is concerned or your preparation strategy is concerned. I was just seeing the results. Some of my students who have cleared, some of them have not been able to. One of the very good students, he is an engineer, Ashish. Just now he messaged me that I could not get through, although I was very much sure of his result, but this happens. As a teacher, I have to tell 2-3 things primarily. I think all of you have seen the syllabus and the pattern of the exam, right? So we have 3 stages, as you must be knowing: prelims and mains and interview. What is the basic difference between the 3? What they want to test in preliminary exam, in main and in interview? Do they want something integrated, or they have some different approaches to test something different? Any idea? Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, okay. I am writing one thing here. Knowledge. What does this mean? All of us are knowledgeable to some extent. If we are not experts, then at least some knowledge we all have, right? What exactly does it mean? Collection of information? Collection of information with your understanding or thinking? What exactly is knowledge? And suppose if you are knowledgeable, do we mean to say that you would be a good administrator? Not necessary. Not necessary. A person who has very less knowledge, he may also be one of the star officers for Government of India, right? If he is able to present his work or is able to implement the policies, whatever. So being knowledgeable is not very important. Am I right? If I claim as a teacher that I am very knowledgeable and I am unable to express myself in the class, then it is of no use. So testing the knowledge, is it justified? Point is this. Or testing the learning outcome is justified? Which one? Learning outcome. So we have to translate our knowledge into our learning skills. All right? I'll show you one question, very, very intricate question. See, one question is here, why did the Industrial Revolution first occur in England? Discuss the quality of life of the people there during the industrialization. How does it compare with that in India at present times? The question asked in mains. This is pure history. Industrial revolution in England that all of us have read in world history, and a pure technical thing. Discuss the quality of life of the people there during industrialization. How does industrialization link with lifestyle and quality of life? Today also we are in the era of marketization or industrialization or globalization. So how they are compared with? Now, by this question, what do they want to know? Your knowledge or your understanding? Understanding, your learning, that whether industrialization and lifestyle are really interlinked. The rapid industrialization will lead to capitalist tendencies. Must have heard. And capitalist tendencies means huge gap in the society, rich and poor. So if we are also entering into industrialization phase, are we heading towards capitalist tendencies in our society in India? India being a socialist state. So if we are heading towards capitalist tendencies, are not we moving against our constitutional mandate? All these understandings, if one has, he is probably the best person in the administration. Are you getting what I am trying to say? Means the exam conducted at 3 stages does not require your knowledge. It requires your approach. It requires your outlook. How do you look at the thing? Very simple, age-old, can say, age-old example. Glass is half full, half empty. It's not a matter of knowledge, it's a matter of how do you look at it. A person may say that glass is half full, other person will say half empty. That is the approach which is required, not knowledge at all. Obviously, knowledge is the foundation. So some knowledge has to be there. Without knowledge, you cannot think. Some raw material has to be there. But knowledge is required only as raw material, not to enhance it, to express your expertise. Why? Because this question or any of the question has to be written in 200 words only. And in 200 words, a research paper cannot have an abstract also. An abstract requires 400, 500 words at least. Then you start writing your research paper for 8,000, 10,000 or 20,000 words. It means by writing not more than 200 words, they very clearly point out that your knowledge is relatively less important than your approaches. They also write, if you have seen the questions, they also write within bracket that content is more important than the length. In every question, at the end of the question, within bracket they will write the content is more important than the length. It means that even if you are writing in 150 words and you have given all, have fulfilled all demands of the question, then 200 words are not required. Right? In fact, that is the most important thing. If you are able to write in 150 words against the required 200, then only you will be able to write 20 words, 20 questions. Otherwise, you will miss the questions. So, knowledge is relatively less important. Our approach is most important. Now, what kind of approach? One approach is whether to test your aptitude, whether you are suitable for civil service. You must understand what is a civil service. What a civil servant does. Tell me. Not age-old things, mugged up things like maintenance of law and order and implementation of policy, not like that. As a common man, what a civil servant does. Providing the resource to common people. Okay, resource like that anybody can do. Why to appoint so many civil servants through this kind of tough exam, asking 8 lakhs people to sit and get 100 IAS officers? Why to hold this kind of tough exam? Anybody can be interested. NGOs could have been interested to implement policies. No, they could have asked NGOs. 1,000 NGOs could have been interested with the task, with proper monitoring. But the administrative backbone or the backbone of governance is the civil service, not the politics. Not the politics. The politicians are not the backbone. The backbone of governance is the civil service. So, what exactly it does? It's a link between people and the state. In corporate terms, we can say you are the frontline manager who is dealing with the common mass. Which type of mass? Illiterate. If you know biotechnology, you cannot discuss with a farmer genetic engineering. You have to discuss genetic engineering. You have to ask him to get through that GM crops, but not in technical terms. You cannot start drawing a sketch of DNA double helical model or like this. Then he will say that you are abusing him. But you have to talk to him in his language, the technical aspect. The job of a civil servant is really challenging and tough. No? And if the civil service or civil servant wants to link the people and state, what is the purpose? The purpose is to do the welfare of the common man. Welfare means to provide him all resources sustainably throughout his life. Right? That job of civil service requires, first and foremost thing, effective decision making. Right? Quick decision making. Decision making may be without any alternatives available. Sudden, where there are no alternatives. So he has to be able to create alternatives in his mind and pick up the best one. You should be that much capable. If you have 100 alternatives, everybody can take a decision. The actual intelligence is found where? When there are no alternatives available and you have taken most effective decision. You are facing a crowd, violent crowd, or a terrorist group, and you are working as a police officer. What to do? Shall you order immediate firing? And if the terrorists are hiding in the crowd of common mass, they can go for indiscriminate firing. You cannot. As a SP of or SSP of a district, suppose 10 terrorists are hiding themselves in the market. They can go for indiscriminate firing, but SP cannot. But you have the onus to protect each one's life. You have to stop them from firing. You cannot open fire. What to do at this time? Suppose you are asked in interview that if you are faced with this situation, what decision will you take? Will you quit that place, leave that place? You will order firing? You will surrender? What will you do? So at that point of time, your decisions should be most effective, most powerful, in favor of the people, considering the government's rules and regulations. You cannot go against law. Your hands are tied with laws and constitution and rules and regulations. What to do? That's what the decision making is, the most crucial aspect of civil service. And that decision making cannot be tested or examined by one thing. That's why this exam is segregated into 3 stages. Giving the alternatives, let us try to find out who is the best possible candidate. If there are 4 alternatives, pick up the best one. That is your prelims. And alternatives are given. And it is easier. The instructions write that there may be more than one correct questions, but you have to pick up more than one correct answers, and you have to pick up the most appropriate. That is written in the instruction, first page. But at least 4 alternatives are there, so you have, you can say, it is a bit easier to pick up the correct decision. In mains, your decision is linked to your thinking, your approach, your ideas, your understanding. Then you can express yourself for 2-3 reasons. Last week I was with one of my students. He is an IPS, and we were discussing just normal talks I had with her. So she told me that when you are talking to your DG or Chief Minister or whoever, senior officer, and you have some problem in your area, he will not go and sit with you and start asking that, okay, start from beginning and let me listen to you for 2 hours. You have to speak to him in 1 or 2 minutes. Every details, all details, at least most important facts. And what did you do? That also has to be highlighted, that this was the situation I was faced with and I took this decision. That's why things are under control. If you are talking to your DGP, he may give you 2 minutes. If you are talking to Chief Minister, he may say that I am walking, walk with me and tell me. You cannot show your attitude that no, I am an IPS officer, go to hell. Can't do that. So, writing in 200 words or writing in 150 words will test your understanding whether you are able to make the things concise and concise. So, precision in your decision making is tested in mains. Your analysis of alternatives is tested in prelims. Your precision in decision making is tested in an interview. Your approach, how do you look at them? That's why We say that this is one of the toughest exams across the world. Why? Because all the three stages are equally tough. You cannot say that I am very strong at prelims, so I will clear mains also. All the three stages are equally tough. It is equally easy if you understand, because they have set pattern of asking questions. They have not gone beyond that the last 60, 70 years. And they will not go beyond next 50 years. Because 50 years before also they had to appoint civil servants. Today also they have to appoint civil servants, and the role of civil servants remains the same. The only difference is generations have changed, so demands have changed, resources have changed. UPSC has never asked any question which is beyond its syllabus, beyond the terms given in the syllabus. It is we who think that since I am preparing for IAS, so I have to read this, and you spoil your own study. Otherwise, the exam is very simple, set. If you prepare, say, I can tell you this much, that if you prepare for 25 questions in one subject, suppose, you will get 15 which you want. If you really pick up those topics after understanding. Otherwise, if you prepare for 100 questions, you may not get one. So what you are studying, you have to understand why are you studying this, and whether commission has anything related to that, ask as a. If you know that I have to go for quick decision making, 100 questions, 2 hours. Even if you prepare for 2 years, or even if I sit in the exam, I cannot solve 100 questions in prelims. My score will also be around 60, 65, that's all. The harsh reality. I cannot say that if I am teaching GS for the last 22 years, I will be 200 out of 200. It is not possible. Even if you prepare for 2 years, you cannot solve 100 questions, right? Because at least 10 questions will be asked randomly, anything. Examiner will close his eyes, put a finger on something, and will make a question. Because asking question is the most easy task. Anything can be asked. There was a question long back, why a crow sits on the back of the buffalo? UPSC. And the options, the question was ridiculous. The option was symbiotic relationship, mutualism. Then you are gone. You do not understand this. Then you might have seen crow sitting on the back of buffalo. What is written on tube light? 6,400 K, 7,200 K, 6,500 K. Now all of us, light is, I cannot look at this, what is written. Size of A4 paper. These are the questions they have asked in prelims. 15 into 23 centimeters. All of us write on A4. Do we measure it? It means they want you to be open, your awareness, your agility, whether you are aware. A common man will say that, ask anybody, what is behind this wall? All of us will say that, how can I see the wall? A bureaucrat or civil servant must imagine. If I go beyond that, I may face a crisis. I may face, somebody might be standing with a bouquet in his hand. Some terrorist might be there with a gun in his hand. I should be mentally prepared for 5, 6 situations. And if I am suddenly out of this, beyond this wall, I will be mentally prepared. That's the difference in the eyes of a civil servant and common man. Then only you can rule. Otherwise, your 90% staff will be of the age of your father. And very interestingly, they will be seasoned corrupt. And you have to rule over them as a young person. They will not accept you as their boss. They will say that, come on, my son is like your age, of your age. How can you try to teach me? Unless and until you prove that you are better than him in decision making, you know more than him, You can handle the things in a better manner than him. Then only, otherwise governance is a tough task. Right? So your rapid, quick decision making, your understanding and your approach, these are the things which are tested by your exam. That's why they have made it 3 different stages and 3 different approaches. The common thread which binds all the 3 is what? The decision making. That's why it is always suggested, do not segregate your preparation. Prepare it with integrated approach. And if you segregate, it is very difficult to finally. You might gain tremendous knowledge after preparing 1 year. In academics, you must have read one subject till your post-graduation. In general studies, you will know history, geography, society, polity, governance, psychology, public administration. After 6 months or 8 months of study, you feel that I am as good as Aristotle or Plato. I have become so much knowledgeable, I know 10 subjects. So you might gain tremendous knowledge, but you will not succeed. You will not be in the list. So you have to integrate your study. That is the first suggestion. That's why I said, first sentence I said that I am not discussing anything as a part of a coaching institute. Anywhere if you go, if you join a coaching, even if you don't join a coaching, if you prepare on your own, follow this advice as a teacher. You want to be there in the list. Coaching is not always required. Lots of people succeed without coaching. Lots of people do not succeed even after coaching. Right? So, a strategy is there. You have to follow, whether somebody tells you to follow this or you find it on your own. But unless and until you follow that strategy, it is not possible to. You will get everything except that result. You will get all knowledge, everything. So, do not disintegrate your study. That's the first suggestion. And the best part of integration is your preparation for mains. If you understand the things, you can easily identify which is for quick decision making, which is for approach, which is for learning, which is for knowledge, you can easily. There is a circle called, have you heard a name Simon Sinek? Simon Sinek is a communicator, one of the finest persons in communication science. So he has made a golden circle. What? How? He says that most of us study this way. By the time you come to how, you are exhausted. If you start studying from here, what and how are already included. Right? Best example of this I'll show you in a question. Very interesting question. How difficult would have been the achievement of Indian independence without Mahatma Gandhi? Do you read national movement without Gandhi? No. We have not read Gandhi except in national movement. This is a reality. We have not read Gandhian thought actually, or Gandhi as Mahatma. We have read Gandhi as a political leader in national movement. Now what Commission has done? He has removed Mahatma Gandhi. It means if you remove this, its significance is very clear. Right? They are asking the same thing. What is the role of Gandhi? What was the role of Gandhi in national movement? But it gave shock to most of the students. Then now what to do? I have read everything about Gandhi, more than what Gandhi knew about himself. I have read so many things about Gandhi, but unfortunately, Gandhi is removed. So, why did Gandhi do this? You know, you can understand who was Gandhi, what did he do. What Simon Sinek says is that if we study why, you know how it is, what it is. I say this, why this mobile is useful. The moment I say why this mobile, what it is already included. Alright? UPSC requires this golden circle. If you prepare why, you will prepare all this. These two are very good, most significant for PT and MA. Very simple. Very simple exam, not easy. Not easy, but very simple. Very simple, very methodical, very calculative, very professional. We don't become professional while preparing. One of my students asked me once in a class that how to study Constitution of India in prelims. I said that how can you segregate? Have you seen any book written Constitution of India for prelims or Constitution of India for mains? It is Constitution. If Article 1 says India, that is Bharat shall be a union of states, whether it is prelims or mains, it will remain union of states. If I know Article 1, whether it is asked in interview or mains or prelims, it hardly matters. How can you segregate inflation as definition? In prelims, inflation will be different, and in mains, inflation will be different. How it is possible? There is no disintegration. It is very unfortunate, somehow or the other. In the last 5-7 years, what I am experiencing, earlier it was not there. My teaching career in this field is now of 23 years, right? The last 5-7 years, what I am experiencing, that people have started segregating it. That mains is different, prelims is different. Let me first complete my prelims, then, and there are advisors also, maybe your friend, relative, teachers, whoever, that if you don't clear prelims, what will you do after studying mains? If suppose I ask that which is more important, education or health? One will say that unless I live, what to do with education? If I am not able to survive, what to do with education? Obviously, health is more important. But unless and until you are educated, do not understand health. Though health is related directly to life, still education is more important because it is related to social life. And that will make you aware of your prevention, cure, everything, and you will remain healthy. Similarly, unless and until you prepare for mains conceptual things, it is not possible unless and until it is predestined that whatever you have studied, everything in sequence UPSC has asked. Then only will get selected, but that will be one person out of 900. That cannot be 899. That exception will be one, right? So, integration of the studies, mains, prelims and interview, all the three. That is most important, most important. Now, second point what I am trying, I would like to say or highlight is the subject which we are discussing, general study. General studies earlier, before 2013, had two papers, you must have noticed, 300 marks each, and you had two optionals of 600 marks each, 300 paper. So 1200 marks were allotted to optional and 600 marks to, and 200 marks for essay. That was the scheme. Now GS is of 1000, right? All of you have seen the syllabus, I think. Seen the syllabus? Paper 1, 2, 3, 4 in mains, I mean. Why 4 papers? See, I am talking in a very simple manner, considering that you do not know anything. You might be knowledgeable, but from my side, I have considered that you don't know anything. So why 4 paper and why history, geography, Indian society in paper 1, economics, technology, internal security, disaster management in paper 3, governance is in paper 2. You are going to be a part of governance. Governance should have been given most significant position. So governance should have been given in paper 1. Why history in paper 1 with geography and society? Why not history with governance? Why not history with ethics? Or why not geography with economics? Economic geography, you understand? To read economic geography also, resources. Without resources, a country cannot develop. So why not geography and economics have been linked? Why this syllabus? Is it random or does it have a logic? Must have a logic. It cannot be random. It is not made by one single person. It has been developed by various committees. Must have heard Basavan Committee, Alak Committee, Puta Committee, Second Administrative Reforms Commission. Your syllabus is mostly designed by Second Reforms Committee, Administrative Reforms, maximum part of your present syllabus is derived from the recommendations made by Second Administrative Reforms Commission, Virappa Moily Commission. Must have heard. Huh? Those reports, although that commission was set up in 2005, but since the syllabus is made out of the recommendations of that commission, still those 15 reports are relevant. And if you go through those reports, most of the answers you will get in mains, not in prelims, in mains. So logically, if you look at the name general studies means what? I think it is there in the syllabus. This is the problem with technology also. They have not given this, but anyway, I will tell you. Is there. See, this is for Indian language. This is the more or less similar language for everything. What that is? The aim of the paper is to test the candidate's ability to read and understand serious discursive prose and to express his ideas clearly and correctly. This is for English language or any other language. Compulsory papers. If you look at the main syllabus, candidates may be required to write essays on multiple topics. They will be expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay, arrange their ideas in orderly fashion, to write concisely. Credit will be given for effective and exact expression. Very clearly they have mentioned what they require. Unfortunately, we don't read all these. You start reading from where it is written, paper 1. So we do not need what I am supplying and what are they demanding. The huge mismatch between demand and supply. What is the requirement? Closely with the subject of the essay. Do not go beyond. Be close with your subject matter. Then orderly fashion, correct sequence of your ideas. Then concise, exact expression, that is precision. So the test is of your sequence of ideas, your closeness with subject matter, your concise approach and precision. That's all. If I want to show my knowledge on that subject, we lose. Very interesting example I'll quote of one of my students, although I should not say openly, but he appeared in mains in 2013, right? In 2013, in essay, there was one essay to be written. Now they have two essays. And one essay was supposed to be written in 2,500 words. 3 hours, one essay was in 2013. First exam after syllabus change. And he wrote, there was a topic, be the change you want to see in others or in the world. Gandhi's statement. Right? When he wrote the exam, came and met me and told me that in worst case, if I am absolutely unfortunate, I'll get not less than 150. Then I sarcastically told him that suppose you are very fortunate, then what will happen? You will cross the total marks. He got 1 out of 200. 001 by 200. Then I asked him that you still must be remembering something. Show me your essay. What did you write? He was also shocked. So he showed me after 5-6 days. First paragraph was very powerful, no doubt. Very powerful paragraph. The last sentence in that paragraph was that Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born on October 2nd, 1869 at Porbandar, Gujarat. After that, he gave a heading, History of Porbandar. Then he wrote 2 pages. Then Geography of Porbandar. Then Culture and Society of Porbandar. Then I asked him that, did you write essay on Gandhi or Porbandar? And then I told him that the examiner was too lenient, that he has given you 1. If I had been your examiner, I would have written that if the guy is seen nearby Dholpur house, he should have been arrested. You have wasted my 3 hours time to read your essay, and I knew more than Gandhi knew about Porbandar. So obviously he had tremendous knowledge of Gujarat and Porbandar. There was no doubt about it. But must not have read this. So your subject, closeness to your this year's essay, have you seen in 2021? 2021's essay paper, have you seen? All philosophical, thematic, no fact, no factual essay. Generally what we say, considering this, that when you start writing essay, the moment you find that now I have to write facts, your essay should end. You have given your ideas, thoughts, everything. The moment you feel that now I do not have ideas, now I have to support my ideas with now facts and figures, then your essay must end at that point. If it is there, you will score beyond your imagination. One example I quoted of my student, another example is in IRS. He wrote that essay in 750 words only on sustainable development. And he scored 174 out of 200. 2006. Sorry, his name is Srivastava. Shashwat Shukla. In IRS. He was not interested for any other service. So he got IRS IT, so he never gave exam after that. But he scored 170 and he was very apprehensive. Said that I have not written 1200 words, I have written only 700 to 800. But whatever I have written, that is very solid. So I should get good marks. But I am scared that whether the examiner will ask for 1200 words or 1300 words. But he scored 174. 174 in UPSC is something beyond imagination out of 200. So, point is that your precision, your concise approach, your closeness with subject matter, your correct sequence. You know, this is possible only when you have your own original idea. First thing what UPSC wants, let me slightly divert. All of you or all aspirants, they are somewhere between 20 and 30. Absolutely golden period of your life. As a young person, can you think something new? If yes, you are there. If you can't, you are out. Very simply. The examiners will not expect anything from you as an expert. I may write that Pakistan and India will be reunited after 50 years. Suppose I have written. if I am able to justify that, you will get 60% marks. Because if I have written that Pakistan and India are reunited, they are not going to reunite because I have written. What examiner will find? That you have thought something very wild, but you have been able to justify that. It means your rationality. You are absolutely rational in your thinking and you know how to justify the things. You are very creative. If you are creative, a state can mold you according to its own requirement. And you are this best candidate, one of the best candidates, be in the service. If you are, the moment you have started according to Aristotle, then you are a laborer of the subject, not the young person who could think something new. Just give a hint that yes, this is what I feel that this new education policy 2020, if I am writing critical examination, I must suggest one point that this policy should have this also. That one sentence will make it overturn. That yes, this is the guy who can bring reforms. And he is able to think. Man and animal are distinguished by this capacity only. Otherwise, man and animal are same, mammals at least. Human beings are also mammals. All mammals are same more or less, except one thing, that man is conscious. Other mammals are sentient, not conscious. They can feel, they cannot think. We can feel and we can think also. If I am unable to think, I am as good as an animal. So how can animal be made civil servants? Yes, you wanted to ask something. Tell me. Yes. Yes. I'll tell you. The best part, first of all, let me make it clear that facts and figures, two different things. Generally, we consider figures as facts. Fact is something which joins two or more concepts, right? Whenever you are writing, if your writing is ambiguous, then you quote one fact, justify. Suppose if I write that India is a federation, right? Although it is also considered as a union. I have written these two sentences. Now the reader is confused what to do, whether it is federation or union. Somebody says federation, someone says union. So what I should perceive? If I have written these two statements, then I have to quote that Article 1 says this, that India is a union of states. This is the reason why we consider it as a federation. This is a fact required. Whenever your writing becomes ambiguous, fit one or two facts to prove it, to make it clear. That's all. So in general, we say that in UPSC answers you require 30 to 35% facts. 65 to 70% should be your analysis. Have you considered why marks is not coming? Topper this year scored how much? You know? Total marks? 1054. Right? Before 2013, 1022 was the cutoff for mains. Why marks is not coming? Even those who are toppers. And very unfortunately, the breed of civil servants which are going in the last 5 years to the very tragic for India. So they are unable to understand the society. That is the statements by those who are senior officers, that the guys who are coming now, they do not know anything. And even the clerks are making them fools, because clerks are more experienced. Why marks is not coming? Because your answer is there. It lacks substance. Examiner is finding that yes, you know the things, but you cannot understand, you cannot think. Unfortunately, seats cannot remain vacant. This is the exam where seats cannot remain vacant. So somebody has to be selected. Otherwise, a guy who has scored 1400 plus could not get IAS, got IPS 1460 out of 2300. In the level of marks you can see 246 out of 300. GS paper, the guys, some of the guys had scored this much. Now I say that my score is very good. I've got 90 out of 250 because others got 5 or 10 or 20. Why this marks is not coming? Because you lack substance. You have created the outline, substance is missing. Why substance is missing? Because you are not able to learn it. Unfortunately. Right? If you put substance, you will score 600 marks in G. Create your outline, fill in with some substance. It will be, you will break the record of UP. Syllabus is like that. None of the questions except 1 or 2 from science and technology. You will say never heard. They ask the questions from around us, things around us. Every question you will find that yes, I have read. I know this. It is not never heard. But since you have not prepared that way, you have not filled with the things with the substance, you are writing your answers on common sense, on the spot. If you had filled in the answers with substance, then examiners are hunting for good answers. I can't tell you some of the examiners' name, which I know, but this is the fact. This is the fact that examiners are demanding that there should be someone who could write good answer. I am quoting this as statement of an examiner. I can't tell the name, cannot express his name, but this is the statement of one of the senior examiners. One very interesting statement, that he told me that one thing is certain, that what we ask, he doesn't know. And the second thing is that he doesn't know anything. This is the statement of one exam. Another examiner's statement is that we are hunting for good answers. Not a matter of medium, English or Hindi. It's a matter of substance. That's why overall marking has gone down. Right? To create the outline, which you can easily create because questions are very plain and simple. Fill the answers with substance. You will score 600 in GS, there is no doubt about it. Prepare for 20 questions, you will get 15 out of 20. They have a set pattern, they will ask only from that. They will not ask. The moment you are selective, I will read this, not this. I will focus on polity, not on economy. I will focus on science this year, not on current, then you are gone. If you have not become selective, you are very particular, very professional, there is no, in first attempt you will go through. There is no doubt at all, provided you have that mindset with conviction. And slow readers, give a stress on each and every word. Here, keep closely to the subject of the essay. Read the words, understand the meaning, then you will understand the demand. I'll tell you to understand the demand of the question also. We generally start studying syllabus from here, right? This is missing here also. One more sentence was there before paper 1. They have written very clearly. Go and at home and find out that original paragraph. On the website you will get. UPSC's website, syllabus, where original syllabus, you will get one paragraph. Just have a look. They write that questions will be asked from the subjects relevant to the career in civil service. Okay. Second, questions will be asked to test level of understanding, basic understanding understanding of the conflicting goals. This is the second state. Third, questions will be asked to test the general awareness of a candidate for which no specialized studies are required. These are the three statements. Means, suppose if I talk about my subject which I take, which is Constitution, Governance, Polity, then Constitution is studied in law, subject law, LLB I mean, political science, you have to, one section is there, IGP, sociology, in political sociology you study Indian Constitution, right? Which area here we have to study? If I tell you constitutional law, then there Constitution, have you read any of you something? Article 12, definition of state. Generally we don't read that article, generally we avoid. We start from 14, right to equality, and at 32. Definition of state, unless the context otherwise requires, starts with that. State shall include Parliament of India, central government, state legislature, state governments, local authorities and other authorities within the territory of India or under the control of government of India. This is the statement of Article 2. This is required for GS. Whether judiciary is a state, this may be a question in prelims. Why not judiciary is given in the state? That may be a question in mains or prelims. If you study constitutional law, there are 150 plus case laws, Supreme Court rulings. Discuss Article 12. Is it required for civil service? Not at all. It means Constitution we don't have to study from the perspective of law, from the perspective of political science, from the perspective of sociology. We have to study very general. So the name of your subject is General Studies, means study general, write specific. We do just reverse. We study very specific and write very general. This is the problem. That's why I said it is a mismatch between demand and supply. Demand and supply mismatch will always be dangerous in economy, we all know. And severe gulf between, major gulf between demand and supply may lead to disaster in the economy. That may lead to disaster in our results also. So your studies must be very, very general. They have written it very clearly, for which no specialized studies are required. Why are we studying specialized? Why are we studying history? Can any of us or any person in the world, let me put that way, have an expertise in all subjects? Tell me. Aristotle, suppose, one of the greatest philosophers. Can we say he was a physicist? No. He was a philosopher. Newton, great physicist. But area is fixed. Newton is recognized as a physicist, not as a philosopher like Aristotle. Aristotle is a great philosopher, might be more knowledgeable than Newton, but is not a physicist like Newton. So none of us can have expertise on all the subjects. So how can you feel that history, geography, political science, sociology, public administration, psychology, philosophy will develop expertise on all subjects? Then district magistrate's position is much, much below than your standard. Then you should be considered as directly as President or Chief Justice. I develop that expertise, and having expertise in one subject takes more than one life. You cannot have expertise on every aspect of a subject. You can have expertise on one particular area of a subject, not entire subject. No one can claim that I am expert on political science or constitutional law or this and that. You can have expertise on one small thing, because you have to go vertically deep. Get that. That is not required. Everything is required in general. Okay. Now let me tell you the logics of your. See, my suggestions in the last 20 years, from day one, the day I started in this field, I was a journalist basically. I was a journalist for 13, 14. By default, I entered into this. Since I enjoyed, so I continue. So, but from day one, I have suggested one thing, I am suggesting you also. The day you will understand the logics of syllabus, your 60% selection, 40% is required is for your study. Why? Because you will understand from where they will ask questions. The first advantage. Second, what to study, what to leave. Third, how to write answers. What will be the demand of the question. Everything you will understand. Syllabus is that much logical. Now let me clarify this. We were discussing the nature of civil service, what a civil servant does. You have to do welfare. Suppose you belong to Uttar Pradesh and you are given the cadre of Kerala. Now let me pray that you should not get home cadre. But suppose somebody gets Kerala cadre, then the government of India will keep a tutor for you to make you learn Malayali. That's fine. And after 2 or 3 years, you may be highly fluent Malayalam also. That's also very true. Still, can you govern without knowing the society? Not possible. So is the case of a Tamil person coming to Uttar Pradesh. What you need to understand? Social setup. The mindset of the people living there. Right? What kind of gentry, what kind of people live in that area? That you have to understand. You have to understand the society, first of all. And for that society, you need to understand topography also. Because geography and topography will guide sociological behaviors. Right? And after this, if you want to understand society, you have to understand culture of that. To study culture, which subject is required? If history was important, then history should have been here. Look at the things what I am trying to. It's very simple. Generally, students feel it is boring. That's why they don't read this. But it's a guarantee. The day you understand the logics, next exam you will clear. If you understand in this next month, your 2023, you are in the list. If you take 5 years, the 6th year you are in the list. If you do not understand, despite your knowledge, you are out. Because you will not understand from where they will ask questions. The questions which have been asked already, that will give only satisfaction that I have solved previous year questions. Next exam is the next trend. That day will come to know that this could also be asked. This year prelims, international affairs, must have seen the questions. At least 10-15 questions have been asked from international current. Nobody had prepared that. Why did not you prepare? How can somebody suggest, how can I suggest that only national affairs will come? Who am I? If I am a question setter and I have leaked the question paper, then only it is possible. Otherwise, how can I or you claim that this topic will not be asked or this will be asked? Don't know. Right? So, logic is that history is not required. What exactly is required? Your heritage and culture. Why not culture only? Why heritage? Because heritage will only give you the trends, what you have inherited from ancient period, that will give you the trends. And without understanding the trends, you cannot understand the future. Long jump. First you have to go behind, then only you can. You have the trends behind, then only you can have a foresight. Because you are going to work for next 30 years, not previous 30 years. Got it? One question we had seen, Industrial Revolution. They have taken you back to Industrial Revolution and asked that what was the life at that time and brought you down to present times. Compare and contrast that industrialization whether contributed to improve the quality of life or whether degraded it. If yes, if the life quality has been degraded, as a civil servant, what would you do? How would you face that situation? So trends is through heritage. And then culture, then it is written history and geography of the world. The title of paper 1 does not write modern Indian history. It is there inside. Modern Indian history from about middle of the 18th century until the present, significant events, personalities. The crux of your syllabus is that you must understand heritage and culture. Without that, your mindset will not be of a administrator, cannot work. Either the officer will be suspended, or he will resign, or he will go somewhere else, or he will take sannyas, or whatever. You won't be able to work because you can't understand the people. And now people are well aware of their rights. Right? I'll give you a very, very good example. One of my close friends is a senior police officer here. Earlier he was, now he has been shifted somewhere else. He was a special CP. Right? So I was sitting in his cabin one day. Somebody came, politician type person with two more. I and Rajkumar was sitting, both of us, and he was talking, and he said that, okay, fine, after half an hour I'll come out of the office. It was 7 o'clock. Suddenly 3 people entered. One was like a politician, and he was standing on his table like this, front. Now, whom he is talking? He is a special CP, the senior position in Delhi police. Then he said that some theft has taken place. Then he said, the special CP said that you go to police station, get an FIR registered. If the SHO is not doing anything, talk to DCP. If DCP is not working, then you come to me. Then he said that I know the procedure, don't worry. I just wanted to inform you. Then he left. I asked him that what was this case. He said that no, he knows everything. He knows that I can't do anything unless FIR is registered. But that is his right. He must have told his followers that go and I will show you how I talk to a special CP. And then he said that I am forced to listen to him. Otherwise, next morning he will go somewhere else. He will go to press that a special CP denied to meet me. People are well aware of rights now. So, for governing such people or such society, you need to understand that. This is the logic behind your syllabus. So, most of the questions are framed accordingly. It means historical studies also require some cultural framework while preparation. So, I said the first advantage is you understand from where they will ask questions. And that is the reason why culture is given more importance in prelims also now than actually proved history. Must have noticed the prelims questions, right? Then look at the society, second portion. Salient features of Indian society, diversity of India, role of women and women's organization, population, associated issues, poverty, developmental issues. how much diversity is important. There was a question asked that which factor is responsible to integrate India despite its diversity. If I ask a question from you that do you think that diversity and pluralism of India are themselves becoming hurdle before India's development? Critically analyze. In other countries, in Western society, one factor is religion, sanity, that binds them. We are multi-religious, multi caste, subcaste, religion, sects. They are plural, extremely diverse, politically, culturally, socially, geographically. Right? How we can remain intact? And we are in the era of consumerism. We are in the era of individualism. All of us have become consumer, and consumer is an individual. He is bothered for himself. I am least bothered for others. In that era, if the country is that much diverse, will not it lead to disintegration? So, is our diversity itself becoming a hurdle? This I have to imagine. If not, then what are those factors that have kept India intact and integrated so far and will remain or keep India intact and integrated in? So, we have to understand the importance of, okay. One more thing I will tell you before I proceed further. There is a word, you heard about this? Semantics. Study of language and words, meanings of words. This is very important. Understanding the meaning of the word is very important. Critically appreciate, critically analyze, critically discuss, comment, elucidate, elaborate, explain. Must understand meaning. There's a university in England, Leicester, University of Leicester. That is supposed to be the best university for creative writing in the world, because they tell their students to write one thing in more than 1000 ways. The same statement, the same paragraph, they will teach them to write in 1000 ways with different approach. These are the reflections, keywords. If you are writing the same thing in explanation, the meaning is something different, examination, meaning something different. So, the meaning of the word is very, very important. Coming back to this, what do you mean by this? Salient features. 3 examples. Characteristic features, must have read somewhere. Exclusive features, salient features. What is the difference? Vocabulary of the subject is the foundation. If you understand vocabulary, the entire edifice of the subject stands on. You will have a grip on the subject. If you do not understand vocabulary, it is as good as that you are standing on top floor of a building which doesn't have a ground floor. You will succumb today or tomorrow. So, understanding of the meaning of the word is very, very important for any subject. And every subject has its own technical terms we call vocabulary. Vocabulary of the subject. Right? So, suppose it was written characteristic features, the answer will be different. What are the salient features of Indian society? Suppose they ask this question, and if I have written characteristic features, then for me the answer is my best possible writing. They will give you 0. Why? Because you could not differentiate between salient and characteristic features. And if you do not understand this, how can you write the answer? This is the impression. Question is a problem, answer is a solution. If you do not understand the problem, how can you solve it? It means you have mugged up the features from some book. You are a good clerk, not a good administrator. You can mug up the things, but you cannot take a decision or you cannot become a good administrator. So we have to understand salient feature means it is externally visible. Characteristic features means the features, the qualities which make your character. Character is what? Aggregate of values. What kind of characteristic features Indian society has? Secularism, the value of Indian society. That's why we are multi-religious. We are intact. If we had not been secular, we would have been disintegrated by now. Alright? And secularism is a value. So characteristic features will determine the character of the person, character of the society, character of something. So they do not want you to learn characteristic features. Why? Because you are not studying sociology. You should understand something of Indian society in general. Are you getting my point? Then effects of globalization on Indian society and role of women and women's organization, population and associated issues. What are these? The problem with examination is what? That syllabus is very detailed but very ambiguous. Population and associated issues. Now every issue may be associated with population. Name any issue, I will immediately correlate it with population. Education, health, employment, right? Economic development, anything can be related to population? No. So this gives the examiner plenty of space to ask anything. And you cannot say that it is beyond the syllabus. They will say that no, it is a part of associated issues. If you fail to identify those issues, then it is your problem. Right? Social empowerment, communalism, regionalism, secularism, salient features of world physical geography. This is one logic. I am not discussing the details of this list, just give you the logic. In 2-3 classes, I have planned that today and tomorrow we will discuss today, tomorrow and day after. Today I am discussing the overall approach for GS. Tomorrow I will be discussing in details about paper 1 and paper 2. Right? How to study, what are the books required, what are the, although paper 1 is not my area, but approach remains the same. Contents will be given by the teacher concerned. My area is paper 2, social justice, governance, polity and IR, and 1 or 2 smaller segments in paper 3, like internal security. So I will be discussing paper 2, how to go about this. I will give you some hint, trailer of a movie. So trailer I will be giving you today, and day after tomorrow I will discuss paper 1 and 2 tomorrow and paper 3 and 4 day after. On 25th, the Agarwal will talk about history, and from 27th we will start the class from history, modern Indian. So he will have an orientation on history on 25th, on Saturday. 25th is Saturday. 27th evening we will start class. Now here the syllabus tells governance, constitution, polity, social justice and international relations. If I draw a diagram, this is governance. You understand what is the meaning of this? Governance. Good. Very good. Legislation, execution and adjudication. Understand the meaning? Legislation is law making, execution is implementing the enforcing those laws, and adjudication is to settle the dispute, if any, right? If it is democracy, you will have legislature, executive, judiciary. If it is absolute monarchy or dictatorship, you have 3 in 1, but the functions remain the same. And what is this? Administration is a part of governance, is a part of execution. You are going here or here? Both. So to go here, you need to spend at least 10 years in service. After 10 years, like Yashwant Sinha, after becoming IAS officer, next morning you cannot go to politics. You are joining administration, right? Administration is a part of governance. One small part, not a part of executive, part of permanent executive, not a part of political executive, right? Political executive is what? Council of Ministers. You are not going to be a part of council. You are going to be a part of bureaucracy or permanent executive. Now, for this administration, what is required? Law, work. If you want to understand law, you must understand legislation. If you are administering the policy, you must understand administration, execution. And if you are implementing, there are chances of disputes. You must understand adjudication also. So administration has to draw strength from all the three. All the three should be studied from which book in India? Constitution. Right? So one topic is Constitution. Legislation is a part of politics also. Do you agree with this? Political parties are there, no, to legislate. So something from politics you have to understand. Right? It means you do not have to study Constitution. You have to study what? Governance. Drawing a strength from political science, from law. I was preparing a set of questions for you, previous year questions from 2013 to 2021, and I could find, I will be able to tell you tomorrow exact number. Rough number is, out of 65 roughly questions from polity governance, paper 2, 48 have been asked from governance. Earlier they used to ask direct questions from Constitution. Discuss, compare and contrast the power to grant pardon of President and Governor. Long back, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, used to ask questions. Now they are asking totally different. They are asking something totally different. They have asked CRPC, they are asking Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. They have asked salient features of Arbitration and Conciliation Act. Very recent example, if I quote, which is expected this year mains, that's Article 161, which what it contains. Article 161 of Indian Constitution. Governor's power to grant pardon. Right? That has been given, or that has been superseded, or that has been given precedence over section 433 of CRPC. CRPC, must have heard CRPC, Code of Criminal Procedure. Section 433A CRPC says that if the governor has granted pardon to someone, he will not be released from the jail unless he has completed 14 years of his term. What's the point? This is the provision in section 433. Recently, Supreme Court says that 161 gets precedence over 433. Now, after governor has pardoned him, he can be prematurely released. Since they have a trend to ask the law aspect also, and if you are in police service, CRPC is an essential part of your working. At least something you must understand what is CRPC, if not all sections. That is what they require from governance. That is the change, shift from knowledge, first sentence, knowledge to learning. They have shifted. Nature of the exam is shifted from knowledge to, and it is easier. Gaining knowledge was difficult. Why? Because people used to read heavy books. I had seen people reading Datta and Sundaram for economics this size, Indian Economy by Uma Kapila of this size, D.D. Basu's book. Now which book is very, M. Lakshmikant is very popular. So earlier D.D. Basu was the only savior. Datta and Sundaram, huge book, this of economics, entire theory. People used to read that to get knowledge. Now nothing is required. Very simple knowledge is required. This must be rational, must be open. Keep your eyes and ears open all the time. Even when you sleep, keep your eyes and ears. Because world never sleeps. When we sleep, Joe Biden is awake. Right? The world never sleeps. Keep your eyes and ears open. Even during you. Then whatever is happening next morning, you will be able to perceive. Means you have to be mentally involved throughout. 4 into 7. One compartment must be mentally involved. Then only you will succeed. And you will succeed in one go. How many of you are going to appear in first time? All or? First attempt is the easiest attempt. Because you do not have any hangover. Alright? The easiest attempt. The more you go on one after another, you will have some hangover of last time I did this time I should forget. Now this time you have removed, the same question was asked. Okay, so you are in the third year. First attempt is very easy, no hangover, absolutely fresh, and they require freshers. You are within 24, at least 50 marks is there interview, guaranteed. You are below 24 years, if the board is giving you 100 on your merit, they will give you 150. 50 marks is for your age. If you are 30, suppose, if you are getting on merit 100, they will give you 80. Why? Because freshers can be molded easily. What is my point? If you are at the age of 21, 100 plus 100, guaranteed, there is no denial. Not one example, hundreds of examples I have of my own students. O.P. Chaudhary, who resigned recently, must have heard, Chhattisgarh. He was exactly 21 years. 1st August was the age that he completed 21 years. In first attempt, IAS, home cadre, Chhattisgarh. For 246 interview out of 300. He was a very good worker. He worked so much in a Naxal infested belt, Dantewada. The Prime Minister Modi had visited him, appreciated him in his district. Finally, he resigned. He is entering politics now. So, quite senior person now, is entering politics. So many examples. For 21, they will pick up those freshers. First attempt, the easiest attempt. Once again, the same statement I am giving you, whether you join a coaching or you prepare on your own, follow this strategy, because I am talking only as a teacher, not at all as a coaching person. Follow this strategy, you will succeed. Right? The topic is here, governance, constitution, polity. What we study generally? Polity. They want you to study governance. You are studying polity. So I am going this way, you are going this way. Somehow or the other, on a crossroad, we may meet. If we meet, you are there in interview or mains. Otherwise, both of us will cross each other. What they want, I have committed myself that I won't be caught by you. You move left, I will move right. It is just like that if somebody asks that what is your name, you say that I live in Delhi. Next question is where do you live? Then you say I am CBP Srivastava. Then I have decided that I will not be caught by you, do whatever you want. Just like this. They want you to understand governance. I am studying polity. Then coming to constitution and neglecting this. Because for me, this is useless. This is just for the sake of writing they have written. And the moment I have read constitution, if 100, I think 100 is too big number. Even if I remember 50 articles, can you feel that I am next to Dr. Ambedkar? And it was unfortunate for me that he was born before me. Otherwise, I would have replaced him. This is the feeling in general. Even if you know 395 articles, hardly matters. Even CGI doesn't know. CGI also doesn't remember all articles. CGI also has to be referred. This is the constitution, see the article, then he will read. He may interpret better than us, but he will not remember word by word. So we have to study this, not here. We have to draw strength from governance and from polity and constitution. We have to focus here. Right? Then social justice. What is social justice? What is justice? Tell me. Fairness. What else? Do justice to someone means what? If you are doing justice to someone, what will you do? Eliminating discrimination. Okay. What else? Allocate one's due resources. Okay. So one is fairness, another is prohibition of discrimination, third is allocation of resources. What else? Protection of rights. Now this is a prelims question, give me the answer. 4 choices. Justice means first option fairness, second option prohibition of discrimination, third option allocation of resources, fourth option protection of rights. One question we have already made, all 4 answers are correct. You have to pick up the most appropriate. Fairness. Think. Fairness. Who else? Protection of rights. Okay. Is it a tough question? Okay. You will do fairness. Means what? As a district magistrate, you are fair. Means what? Giving equal opportunity to all. And this is possible when you will not discriminate. Yes. So when you are not discriminating on the ground of either caste or whatever. So if you are prohibiting discrimination, the net result is that you will become fair. Right? If you are fair, then only you can allocate resources according to his due or according to his requirement. And once the resources are allocated, then only rights would be protected. Right? So, the best possible answer should be prohibition of discrimination. Prohibition of discrimination will lead to fairness. Fairness will lead to allocation of resources, and allocation of resources will lead to protection of. Okay. So, concept of social justice is founded on the principle of prohibition of discrimination, means equality. Another question for prelims. The concept of social justice emanates from which of the following articles? 14, 15, 16, 17. The answer is 14 because right to equality originates from 14. Very simple question, fact based. Conceptual question was first which I raised. The second question same on the same principle, but it is fact based, article based question. Is it okay? If I understand the meaning, 2 questions at least I have thought without studying social justice. Okay? If you are not discriminating, you are not doing injustice. Now, who will discriminate? Individual or state? State. Because constitution is for a state. The state shall not discriminate. Is it okay? If a state will not discriminate, then a state shall deliver social justice. So, social justice is an extended form of governance. Is it okay? This is the goal of governance actually. If everybody in India is delivered social justice, then India is a welfare state, 100%. Right? Now, this is possible only in the era of globalization after. Initially, when Commission included these 3, maximum weightage was obviously polity governance. Next was this. This was given lesser weightage. Slowly and gradually, the weightage of this is down, because that is not as important as social justice and governance for an administrator. This is important only when you are going in foreign service, right? Otherwise, for other services, your administration and social justice are the 2 more important things. So, 120 marks is roughly 100 to 120 marks is allocated for polity governance, and roughly 70 to 80 marks are given for, and remaining 50 is given to. Anyway, this we will discuss details tomorrow, paper 2, paper 3. Now, the third aspect is paper 3 when you read this: technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment. Without technology, development is not possible. Which development? Interrelation with, this is the source of all resources, natural resources, right? Internal security. John Maynard Keynes, have you heard? Maynard Keynes says that state has 4 functions. First, border security. Second, internal peace. Third, production. Fourth, distribution. So, first of all, you have to secure your borders, then make internally peaceful environment, then only investments can take place, right? And then only production will take place. So, internal security, without internal security, no investment, no economic development. And unless and until you manage the disasters, especially in India, it is prone to all kinds of disasters. So, all these things are related to. I'll quote one question. There was a question asked in mains that what is the advantage of placing a satellite in geostationary orbit? Right? How does it contribute to India's economy? Now, here technology does not mean understanding the technical details of something. Technology here means how this technology will contribute to economic development. Another question, biotechnology can open golden gate of development in India. Discuss. So even if I do not know how DNA fingerprinting is done, there is no danger. If I know how biotechnology contributes to economic development, my purpose is served. So economic development is in the center, surrounded by technology, environment, disaster management, internal security. You can understand the logics, very logical syllabus. Interlinks are there. And wherever the subjects come closer, the point of contact of the subjects is the area of your question. This is the best way to understand. Wherever economics and science link together, that area is your area of question, whether prelims or main. That's why I said that if you know the syllabus, you understand from where the questions can come. All subjects originate from the society, right? And all subjects are operated in this society. When you are or we are in academics, we are separated. Philosophy, physics, chemistry, biology, botany, zoology, every subject is different. Once you are in the society, all subjects come close, they converge. If I am standing here, ethical laws are applicable. My cultural background is also applicable. My social setup is also there. My economic aspect is also there. But when I study physics in a lab, then I may have to make an experiment to see gravity. Is it okay? So whenever society, when you are working in the society, all subjects will converge. The point of convergence is the area of your question. They will not ask beyond that. In every paper, according to the weightage, if 9 questions are asked in economics, then you have to prepare 15, 16, that's all. Out of 15, 16, all 9 questions will be there which you want. Maybe the language is different. The language which you have written, that this would be a question, the language may not be there, but the theme will be there. And you don't have to depend on anybody to guess a question. You can yourself guess that yes, this is what the question would be asked and that would be there without any doubt. Even in prelims, you will get the questions which you want. The same topic, because that is the requirement of commission. Point of convergence you have to understand. And that is the reason why this kind of syllabus is designed. Otherwise, they could have kept technology somewhere else, they could have kept internal security somewhere else. Why only these subjects in one paper? And this paper is most dicey. Ethics, integrity and aptitude. There was a very interesting question, I think 2014 or 15, that everybody wants happiness. What according to you is happiness? Everybody wants happiness. What according to you is happiness? How to write this answer? Tell me. Very general question. Somebody will say that I want happiness when I sleep. So one statement is that when I sleep, I feel very happy. And since now I have slept, so answer is over. Who are you? Tell the examiner that you want happiness in what sense? You are a common man, you are a bureaucrat, you are a politician, you are a ruler. Who are you? That marks depend upon that? No. For a common man, happiness may be something different. For a politician, happiness may be something different. For president and governor, happiness is of different nature. For an administrator, happiness is different. Your approach is tested by telling this, that what according to you is happiness. The moment you write that, yes, I feel happy because of such and such thing, your approach is thinking is there. Whether you think like a bureaucrat or think like a common man, you think like a politician, or you are confused. If you have read any novel, must have read some novel. If you read novel of one author, 10 novels, can you sketch his personality? What kind of author he is? Can? Without meeting him, and at least 70-80% it will match, right? So your writing will reflect your personality, whether you are able to think that way. So ethics, integrity, aptitude is a very unique paper. It combines philosophy, psychology, public administration, society, and governance. All. Governance is your case study. Practicing whatever you have read. It talks about two things: your character and your conduct. This tests your two features. That's why the syllabus is designed accordingly. First 3-4 segments will decide your character, and the second part will decide your conduct. Whether you are emotionally intelligent, whether you have the attitude to work, whether you have learned something from great people, whether you have learned the philosophy of ethics, that what are the values, universal values, social values, human values. Your character is examined by the questions. And the second part, which is based on the case studies, that will examine or test your conduct, whether you are able to handle the situation. That way we can study. The thing which I have given you, this booklet, I would request one thing. In every subject, like if you see, I'll tell you one or two examples. Like see, if you see page number 9, page number 9, it is written approach and orientation in brief, right? In every subject you will find that. At the same time, you will find the topics which have been subdivided, smaller topics also. The reason behind is not to exclude anything and to horizontally spread and go vertically deep. Extensive study first, then intensive study, so that nothing is left first of all. And once you are vertically deep, then you are developing that skill how to present the answer. That's why the topics have been further classified in subtopics. That is the advantage. Go through this at home, and it's a request that if you are preparing for civil service, this syllabus and previous year question bank should always be there on your study table. Always. 24/7. Look at the syllabus every day. What is there? What is the syllabus? Whichever topic you are reading from, whichever source, read that, understand it, look at the questions, prelims and mains. Are you able to solve them? If not, why not? What is missing? Make a list of that. These are the things which are missing, and try to fill the gap. Every day, be professional, calculate it. If 5 pages I have read from NCERT, chapter 5 of this subject, how many questions? If one question I have been covered, my studies are not productive. If after 5 pages, 10 questions I have covered, my studies are productive. Be professional this way. Calculate it. Calculate it and make a balance that from history, at least 50% questions I have to solve. From all subject, at least 50% questions I have to solve. If you solve 50% question, your marks is 100 at least in prelims. No. If you solve 50 questions, at least 100 marks you will get. If you get 100, you are through. The cutoff is always, very rarely it is 102. Otherwise, it is 95 to 100. Cutoff is like that. This year also it would be more or less the same, rather quite less. This time expected to be slightly less. But you have to be very productive in your studies. Don't study like a laborer. Length of study is least important. How many hours I am studying, never important. And if you study more than 10 hours, you are moving away from success. Make your study, plan your studies from 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 hours regular study for 1 year will make you a scholar. More than 8 hours of study will make you confused. You will be overstuffed with facts, your thinking ability will go down. You may qualify prelims, but you will lag behind in main. So, do not take tensions, relax yourself, do not take pressure, make your 2 hours gap, 2 hours slot in 4 slots, not more than 2 hours in one session. In any case, 2 hours of study, give a gap. Then again 2 hours, but during that 2 hours, no distractions. Your mobile phones must be switched off. Nothing should distract you that during 2 hours. If you are honest to your studies to 6 to 8 hours, nothing will stop. There is no doubt. This is one. So go through this topics and put your question bank and syllabus all the time. Place your syllabus on. Every day look at what is there. Question bank, previous years, prelims and mains both. Second thing is the books which are required. The best source is NCERT books, obviously. This year also in prelims at least 25 questions were from NCERT, direct questions, not less than 25, different subjects. So class 9 to 12, NCERTs must be read. In geography, 6 to 12. If you have not studied geography earlier in your academics. If you have read geography in your academic, then 6th is not required, obviously. But those who are new to geography, then it should be 6 to 12, 9 to 12 from other subjects like history, polity, economics, geography. For science, if you are weak in science, then you have to read 9th and 10th, that's all. Okay. For environment, one NCERT will help you. Class 12th biology book, in that we have a chapter called environment. Okay. And certain governmental websites you have to visit frequently. Either make a weekly visit or at least 4. One is Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Then Ministry of Environment, Forest. Then Ministry of External Affairs. Then you have National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA. Okay. And these are the websites. PIB you should focus, Press Information Bureau releases. Now in websites, what you have to look at, on the home page you will find the icons, policies and programs, acts, about us. You open policy and program, suppose it is National Scheduled Caste Welfare Policy. Go through that, take brief things, not entire policy. Take the brief note of that. What exactly is the policy? What is the major point in this? That's all, 5-6 lines. So just open the website, open that icon, note it down in your copy so that every time you don't have to look at the website. It will be on the copy. Every fortnight, if something new comes, it will blink. You have to look at that. What is new? That's all. That is what we have to do. NCERTs, if you go through, make a synopsis, pointers, one-liners. It has two advantages. When you read the book, you perceive, you call audio visual. You listen and you see it. When you write in your own handwriting, the same thing. Once again you are looking at it, and once again you are perceiving. It is twice. You are reading also, revising also. So making synopsis is always helpful. Okay? And there should not be any shortcut in this. Avoid using this. PDFs. Note it down. Work hard. If PDFs would have been highly appreciable, then all books would have lost their significance. That is not possible. You cannot study medical science and law in PDF. If a doctor comes to make a surgery seeing the PDF, then what he will do? Cannot zoom your stomach. Here he has zoomed the, what is the art? He cannot zoom that. So avoid using this as much as possible. Try to work in traditional manner, right? That will give you better understanding. Okay, these are the things required. And newspapers. Newspaper is a very, very important thing now. Have newspaper. To have today's. Okay. Today's. The newspapers have to be read like a textbook. I'll tell you how. I can tell you in a better manner because I had been a journalist for 12, 13 years. So I know what to write and how to write. And I also know what are insiders, what are other sources. Must have read. From sources we have got this. Journalists have wired to be beaten up by writing this. And an officer on the condition not to disclose his name. I was working for Deccan Chronicle as Bureau Chief, Chennai. Deccan Chronicle, have you heard? I was working as Bureau Chief for Deccan Chronicle for 6 years. And then in Hindi newspaper and also. See, for examiner, there are threads required. For example, the article says a wish list for reform in India's higher judiciary. Now, the tragedy with Hindu is that it is hardcore left. Must have read the newspaper. If you follow Hindu, it seems that we are going to lock down India in few days, few years, and India will lose everything. But that is not correct. So even if you don't read the articles, try to find out something from your heading. Examiners don't read the entire article. If suppose I have to pick up a question, the title says a wish list for reform in India's higher judiciary. There are more important aspects relating to the retirement age of judges on which change in the system rests. A very good question. Age of retirement of Supreme Court judge is fixed, but not the age of appointment. For your exam, minimum age is there, no? Minimum 21. Retirement age is also fixed. For Supreme Court judge and High Court judge, the age of appointment is not there. Suppose it is decided, which type of power it is? My question will be, the power to decide or determine the age of appointment of a judge is judicial power, executive power, quasi-judicial, legislative. This is no, it is judiciary, judicial power. So it is a question which I perceive without reading an article. What do I mean to say is, don't read the articles if you don't want, because it will consume 2.5 hours time if you want to read, right? Not less than 2 hours, and that too you can't read entire paper. And after spending 2 hours time, you will find that nothing was used. So that is most frustrating. So avoid reading serious and heavy articles. Try to explore your mind what type of questions could be asked and note down the topics. That's all. It should not consume more than half an hour time. You are spending 2 hours time, you are wasting your 1.5 hours. Because if you have read this article today, understood it also, still you cannot sustain it next mains. Once again you have to read the same. And why to waste time today? To explore, what is the question? Reforms in Indian judicial system, reforms in higher judiciary, age of retirement, age of appointment. At least 4 questions are there. Next, a new global standard for AI ethics. Paper 4, ethics in technology. So you have noted down ethics in technology, especially artificial intelligence. My question will be different. The journalistic writing is different. Writers in newspaper write totally different. You have to write something different in your exam. So I have to pick up the topic. Next, UNESCO's global agreement on the ethics of AI can guide governments and companies alike. There is a topic in your paper 4. Ethical issues in international relations and funding. What is the role of international institutions in developing ethical standards? And which agency? UNESCO is one. Now UNESCO may be asked in paper 4 in mains. UNESCO may be asked in prelims. Which of the following statements are correct about UNESCO? All of us know UNESCO, but we forget precise meaning. It was established on such and such date. It was established based on a treaty or a charter. So you note down UNESCO. This you have to find out. Your work on newspaper should be to pick up the topics, not to read articles. And don't read this. What you call editorial. Don't read. Everybody must have told you to read editorial. Right? Don't read. You will be influenced. You will be influenced with left orientation, and your answer will reflect your attitude. You will not be able to understand, but the examiners will understand. If you show me your answer, forget about your examiners. If you show me your answer, 5 answers, I will sketch your personality, 70%. They can sketch 100%. Because so far as I know, your youngest examiner is of 65 years age. Right? And old age people, they have a very unique perception that today's generation is unethical. Today's generation has lost all the things, must have noticed it. Right? And if you are writing in that way, their suspicion will be perfect that yes, this is what I was feeling. This is the guy who is the representative of all these. So your youngest examiner is of 65, between 65 and 70. So they can sketch your personality in 100% within seconds. So don't get influenced by any thought. If you get critical points, that is a critical point. Find out the other side. There was a good example I am giving. When P. Chidambaram was finance minister in early 90s, Narasimha Rao's government, right? He launched a scheme called VRS. Presently also there is a scheme, voluntary retirement scheme, right? And he also launched a concept of National Housing Bank, NHB, it's also working today. And RBI is one of the promoters of NHB. The government said that if you have black money, disclose your black money. 30% government will take and 60% will be white, tax free. For the scheme, NHB. That 30% of the money collected, will be the corpus of NHB. So for NHB, government did not invest even single rupee. And lots of people disclosed, because after giving 30%, 60% was white, and that was tax free. Suppose it was 600 crore, then you are tax free. So government collected huge funds, and that NHB started building housing for poor. Same year, the UPSC asked, what are the advantages of corruption for poor population in India? That is the other side of the coin. There is a sociologist called Emile Durkheim. He says that everything has a social function, social application. Terrorism. It is terrorism only which has globalized the world. No other issue. Name any issue. Climate change, world is divided. Trade, labor standard, environment, world is divided, except terrorism. On terrorism, the world is one. That is the, obviously, good aspect is one, 99 are bad aspects. So it is a bad concept. Got my point? But every aspect has the others, every coin has two faces. So if foreign policy of India is bad according to Hindu, fine. There must be other side of the coin. So you have to be moderating. The best way to avoid this kind of thing is avoid reading heavy articles, save your time, pick up the topics, explore as many topics as possible. And one more thing I will suggest, to read a topic, the best way to read a topic is what? Suppose women issues. Suppose you have picked up today that I have to read this topic. Now women come from which subject? Women issue, where we study? Society. So social aspect we have to identify, right? If you say society is here, society is founded by culture. Below society is our culture. In the society you have economy, politics, everything. So another aspect is cultural, economic, environmental, go on thinking, philosophical, ethical, political. Write about 2 sentences each. Your one topic is complete. No? Is it not easy? 4 sentences each. If you do not get philosophical, remove this. At least 4 things will be there: politics, economic, society, culture. In any case, your answer is multidimensional. Name any other topic. Inflation. Inflation we study where? Economics. Economics has linkage with politics. It also has linkage with society. Another dimension is political, means policies. Social impact of inflation is multidimensional. In one sheet, inflation is complete. In another sheet, women issues is complete. 100 sheets your syllabus is there. Even if you mug up, you are there in the list, nobody can put a hurdle. The exam is so simple. Obviously, again I will say, so simple, not easy. You have to be professional in any case. You have to be professional. Otherwise, everything is there except good results. Everything is. More sources are available now. Internet, YouTube. Stop using YouTube, please. Request. Confine yourself to your own study table. Be traditional in your study. Once you are there in the list, open yourself. Why to open right now and close whole life? It is better to close 1 year and open yourself for throughout your life. So, stick to your study table, your syllabus, your question bank, your own mindset, newspapers, books, that's all. Don't spread the wings like this. Otherwise, 100 people will give 100 suggestions, and if you follow 50 out of them, your own thought will be lost. They want original idea. The general perception in civil service exam is that when you prepare too much, you are rejected. And if you are reluctantly preparing, you are there. Why? Because when you are reluctant, you have not mugged up the thing. So whatever you have written, that was your original. That must have fetched better marks. Otherwise, everything were mugged up from the book. Right? That's enough, I think, for today. Tomorrow we will discuss paper 1 and paper 2 in details. How to read, which books are required, and how to read a book. How to read a book, how to find out questions, how to answer the questions in that particular subject. I will tell you one more thing. Suppose one power to grant pardon, suppose this is of governor. Then I will tell you that how a general answer is written and what should be written. What you generally write which will fetch this much of marks, and what should be written which will fetch this much. I will tell you the difference. In more or less paper 1, paper 2, and next day we will discuss paper 3 and paper. Right? All the best.